You guys, AJ's been live streaming for the last 15 minutes, not live streaming.
17 minutes he's been talking all to himself.
Yeah, that totally just happened. That totally just happened. You started the show.
I did. I started the show.
And then I came on and someone made a comment like, AJ is really catching on to Ben's habits. And I was like, oh, they didn't like that Jada came on. You know what I mean? And I thought that I was live. That comment made me feel, okay, we're live.
At the end of the day, no one started the show, technically.
It's true.
Yeah, the live button.
The double thing is stupid.
I thought I clicked it. I thought it got clicked.
I'm going to go now.
But I swear, I was spitting fire in here.
It's a Monday, man.
It's actually a Tuesday. Yeah, take a lap, sir. Okay. Okay, so yeah, all right, that happened. That's cool. I thought I was live for 17 minutes, and I was reading the chat like, oh yeah, they're totally following me. Okay, that totally happened. All right, that was wonderful. Let's restart the show then. Okay, the first thing I said was shout out to everyone affected by the hurricane. I know some people in the chat, not going to say names, have been hit by that. My sincere prayers, thoughts, love, gratitude go out to you. If there's anything we can do here to help, let us know. We'd be more than happy to help. I don't think we can drive there or anything, but if you need anything, feel free to reach out. You know how to get a hold of me. All right. So there's that big oops, right? Big oops. So yeah, thank God to the Glitter Queen for checking the stream before we left. Am I going to do the rate my portfolios today? Yes, I can. I just have to send them the last screenshots over to my new Mac here. I believe there's these two right here. I got you on that. So I did a quick recap of my weekend. I did head out to Maryland to see my family, see my puppies, everything like that. It was my dad and my stepmom's birthday. So happy birthday to Big Al, Miss Paula. Much love. We had a really good time, went out to dinner, watched some movies. I go to Maryland to relax and to ride dirt bikes, and it rained the whole time, so I didn't get to ride dirt bikes. I did work on some things that I got going in the background. As a lot of you know, I am writing my trading course for verified investing with Gareth Soloway and all that. And that obviously is a really big opportunity. And it's also going to be about a 16-hour course. So you could only imagine, how much I've been writing, how much I've been, kind of working on getting that all going. It's a lot. But hey, it's been coming for a while, and it's really hard with where I am in my trajectory right now to really put out a book. I know my name's AJ Writes Crypto, and I am a writer, and I've been a writer for a while, but basically it's really tough if you were to get a book deal. You basically don't own your thoughts anymore. It's kind of like the music equivalent of signing a record deal. And I have been really torn on, okay, how am I going to do this when I actually get to a point where I feel like I have a big enough following to properly do a full book run. To be fair, with my medium of content, with the medium that I speak on, I think basically the course will really be at least a proxy for, I guess, what would have been my first book, because basically I had 3 book ideas. One of them was a daily affirmation type book like this. I know some of you have bought this. I used to talk about it back in the day, called Money Blessings. And basically it's, you read a page every single day and you basically kind of focus on yourself, focus on, attracting, manifesting, wealth, manifesting, love in your life, just positive affirmations. And I think a lot of people sleep on that stuff. And I actually kind of swear by this stuff. Consciousness and energy creates reality. And I have completely manifested a life beyond my wildest dreams, from where I was 10 years ago to 5 years ago to hell, even 2 years ago. I just put a tweet out that I 2 years ago yesterday, I made my first YouTube video that was featuring me. That was I did some around the blockchains, but really my first YouTube video was 2 years ago yesterday on the original BitBoy Crypto channel, when Ben was gone, and I filled in for his portfolio videos. And to battle his portfolio, I bought $5,000 now grand. And in 2 weeks, it pumped 27%, and people noticed, and people kind of caught on. And there was a lot of really good positive feedback. And that was really the beginning of my journey. And even then, man, it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? And reading books like that, and Atomic Habits, and, The Power of Now, all the books I have behind me, like kind of focusing on the positivity, focusing on manifesting what you want. Like, you really can create tangible things out of your thoughts. And I fully believe that. I'm kind of an alchemist in my own way. And, so there's that. And my first book idea was a book like that. It would seem kind of floofy to some people, but I know there are also people that need to read it, that would really sincerely help. I mean, I don't make fun of Cecily Bland for writing Money Blessings, because it changed my life. I don't think it's floofy at all. The second book is kind of like my life story, kind of Crypto Chronicles parts 1 through 10. And it's also kind of more of, it wouldn't exactly be like a direct autobiography. It would kind of be more of like my story paired with the strange patterns that I've seen along the way, and how the little things that I've noticed end up making the biggest difference. And not as much of I was born here, I went to school there, but more of, these are the little things I've noticed in myself, the little things I've noticed in people, and the things along the way, from, me, really messing my life up early on in my early 20s, to being a millionaire in my 30s. So it's like, it wasn't, I think a book like that would kind of be more of a personal thing. And then the third book was what I have always referred to as the playbook, which I've been writing for a couple of years now. And the playbook is essentially everything you'd ever need to know about technical analysis slammed into one crash course. And I really think that the playbook is what is going to be the course that I'm doing with Gareth. So I do feel you in the chat, Mike. Screw a book deal, self-publish. I'm with you there. And I might do that one day. But I also think that more people would get the message, at least for the playbook, if it was a video. And I think maybe eventually there could be a book that pairs with it, or, some sort of trading journal type idea. I have a couple ideas like that as well. There are a lot of ideas that kind of stream through my head all at once when I talk about this, but it is coming. It takes a lot of time. And I do appreciate everybody's patience, because sometimes it's hard. Like, guys, I'm only one person, right? And, I'm writing books. I have a life. I have a fiance. I like to play good video games. I like to ride my dirt bike. I like to ride my motorcycle. But at the same time, I also have to do these live streams. I have to do my own personal trading. I have to post my personal charts in my Telegram. I have to stay alive on Twitter. I have to write videos. I have to do, like, it's so much, man. And sometimes, like, I feel like I wish I could do more. But then there's also that line I kind of got to draw in the sand, like, AJ, like, you need to be sane. No one wants to watch you if you're crazy. And you have to, there will obviously be a point where I can, hire, maybe not a hit network building full of people, but maybe hire 4 people, 5 people, and be able to run things a little bit more seamlessly. And I am certainly working to that point. I have already made a lot of money, and that is great. But at the same time, it's like, I got to play it right. You know what I mean? And I think kind of doing it one day at a time is how I've always done it. And I think that especially with this bull run coming and me getting the trading course out, hopefully very early next year, and then I can kind of use that momentum running into the bull run, because I will be doing my show. I will be doing spaces with Mario. I'll be going on Ben's show, and I'll be doing additional YouTube videos with Gareth. So I really will be on a lot of places. And kind of the goal is no longer to get rich. The goal is to grow as a brand. And that now that the money thing is taken care of, it's kind of more of how can I use the resources I've accumulated to not only grow as a brand, but to also help as many people as I can. And I really think that has always been my mission anyway. So up in the chat, I do see the messages. Big shout out to Bitboy, man. I know he's sick. He has pneumonia. I always say pneumonia when I read it, pneumonia. And had some scary stuff, man. I really hope he's okay. Hopefully it's not too bad. Man, but yeah, much love to Bitboy, man. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Got the new computer, so things run smoother, ? Yes, I did just get this bad boy last week. Thank God. It's a lot easier than the other thing. I don't know why, but the very first show I did on this computer, I was able to get the camera on the computer to serve as the B camera, but now it won't pop up. I need to get off of StreamYard and go to Streamlabs or a really tricked out OBS. But that's just another thing on the list. I do have really big news, actually. You'll know this week. I'll leave it there. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna show up, and you guys are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, big. Yeah, that's happening. So there's that. Should I swap my ETH for SWI? I think you should have done that 2 months ago. So I do gotta kind of get into the show here. All right. I do gotta get into the show here. All right. And this is one of those moments where it's not an I told you so. It's not at all an I told you so. But I will forever be the content creator that makes the content you need to hear, not the content you want to hear. I am not on YouTube to pat you on the back and to tell you you're going to make it. You're doing great. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you want to make it, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice. It's going to take you pushing yourself to the edge of what you thought you could do. And when it comes to crypto and prices and what's possible and what I think is going to happen, I will always tell you what I truly think is going to happen. And it's not all the time I actually come out and make a video that's like, guys, you need to listen to me. And I made that video last week, and I actually kind of rolled the dice on it a little bit. And I had this analogy, and that's why I have this on my desk right now today. Because in the beginning of that video, I said crypto is at an intersection. That intersection is at the corner of around and find out. And my theory was that Bitcoin was going to roll over, and Bitcoin was not going to break out of the bull flag on this impulse push up. It was not going to happen. And the basis of the video was that Uptober is a lie. Uptober is a lie. So before I get into that, we need to talk about a lot of times when everyone is set on something, it doesn't happen. In fact, the opposite happens. For example, September was supposed to be a bearish month because it was a bearish month before, don't you know? Yeah, that worked out really well. September was actually pretty damn good. All right. And now I'll just pull this really fast before I all right. Bang, bang, bang. Okay. Boom. All right. So September, 2 green Septembers in a row. after 6 bearish Septembers. And this one was better than the last one. And now here we are in October. Here we are. The past 5 Octobers have been green. There was one red one in 2018 for 4% down. And the 3 before that were all pretty bullish. I don't really care about anything, 2015 below to me doesn't even really count. It's a completely different space than it was then. Completely different space. All right. And I mean, really, we do got to kind of draw a line out. Okay, what year here are we going to actually be able to use for data? Like at what year, where do we draw the line and say, okay, this matters? Because we're in a completely different environment now. All right. But now, of course, because of historical data and because of a handful of macro things, everyone's absolutely convinced that October is going to be God. And I hope it is. But I do want to cook here for a second. Let's make the pro list. All right. Why could Uptober be Uptober? All right. In my eyes, it has everything to do with global liquidity. America just did the first the first Fed pivot since March of 2020. That's really, really strong. We're finally turning the money printer back on. We are entering a phase of quantitative easing. A strong dollar is a weak market. A weak dollar is a strong market. And we are finally turning the printer back on. I think a lot of people put a lot of stock into the pivot itself, but I really think it's the accumulation of multiple slashes that is going to equal the bull run for all risk assets. And I don't think that's baked in at all, not even a little bit. Why is this significant? It's significant because America wasn't the only one to do it. China, stimulus package, 50 bips. Japan, entering a phase of quantitative easing. Some other countries in Europe, same thing. The point here is that there is a coordinated global effort to stimulate the global economy. The entire planet Earth is, a lot of the main countries are entering a phase of quantitative easing. And from the standpoint of global liquidity, this is going to pump everything. All right. But does that guarantee that it happens right now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The election is going to play a role. I see the super chats. I'll get to them. The election is going to play a role in, for sure, crypto. We're going to see some volatility in November, whether we like it or not. And I'm going to move to Dubai next year if I have to. Not that I want to. But so let's kind of circle back to what I was talking about. And the video I made was called October is a Lie. The crypto market's going to crash. And everyone lost their minds. I don't like you. You suck. Who is this kid? He probably doesn't even have $50,000 to his name. That kind of shit. And I will forever be the guy. I'm fine with this. That tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. If I wanted to pander for likes, I would just make price prediction videos and lie to you. If I wanted to pander for followers, I would not make videos like October is a lie. Okay. But I want to tell you guys what I actually think is going to happen. And that requires me to go against the grain more often than not. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Forever a pragmatist. All right. So basically, the video was Bitcoin's in a bull flag. And eventually, for us to have the 10x $1 million Lamborghini conversation, we got to break out of that bull flag and consequently put in a new all-time high, right? Well, there was no promising that the move up that we had in September guaranteed us admission outside of that bull flag. And I said in the video, if Bitcoin breaks 65,000, that would be really strong for Bitcoin moving forward, because that would be the first higher high, higher low structure inside of the bull flag. But it does not guarantee, breaking 65,000 does not guarantee admission outside of the bull flag. It would certainly help, and that's a requirement to break out, is to break 65,000, but that does not guarantee admission. And I even said there is a scenario where Bitcoin breaks 65,000 and rolls over and turns around, breaks down out of the angle of the up run that it had, the uptrend within the bull flag, the trend within the trend. Okay. And basically, if you look at what I said in the video, and now you look at this chart today, you will know that all of these uptrends from here to here, I actually want to change the color of you to yellow. Okay. All right. So from here to here, here to here. All right. These uptrends within the bull flag on average lasted 23 days. 23 days. On that video before we broke 65,000, I said, we're on day 18. We're on day 19. We're right here. Want to know something funny? Bitcoin broke the downtrend on day 23. Bitcoin broke the uptrend. I mean, not the downtrend. But Bitcoin broke the uptrend on day 23. Nailed it. Nailed it. I don't know how I could have been more clear, but I don't know anything because I'm not bullish. Why you got to be such a bear? I don't listen to anyone who's a bear. Guys, no one's a bigger bull than me. I want crypto to go. I want altcoins to pop off. I want to see every one of the 200 people watching this show right now. I want to watch you all get rich. I want to watch every one of you get rich. All right. I want you all to find the success that I have found. And I want to teach you. The only way I can teach you is to teach you my experience. I can't like pick up my brain and put it in your head, but I can bring you to the water, but you got to drink it. All right. All right. And we called this pretty damn well, in my opinion. Now what matters is now what? Now what, right? Now what is we are still in this bull flag. And eventually the hope here is that Bitcoin breaks out, which it probably will, because like I mentioned, we are entering a global phase of quantitative easing. It's not just America expressing interest. It's China, it's Japan, it's other countries in Europe, bunch of people. All right. So what do we have to focus on here? Let's get rid of this 65,000 line. And instead, let's kind of look at this, because now we kind of have this sort of wedge forming. Where did I get this from? Well, for the first time inside of the bull flag, Bitcoin put in a higher low and a higher high. So it is worth our time to draw this trend, right? And alarm this trend, right? Because if this breaks down, don't you want to react to that? And if this breaks up, don't you want to react to that? Exactly. So certainly draw, this little up wedge kind of formation we got going here. All right. That's thing number one. Thing number two, of course, I'm going to say this. I'm going to kind of scroll the screen so we have all the price action of 2024. All right. So we have December 23rd. Let me scroll this over just a little bit. All right. We got January. All of this year's volume profile is inside of here. So let's look at this. All right. And actually, when I did the show without everybody, I did pull a fixed range volume profile for the bull flag itself. And the point of control was actually a little bit above the price action. That's a good thing. All right. Secondly, let's look at the volume profile. All right. Kind of got some hooks, kind of got some dips. All right. So basically, we really don't want to see Bitcoin lose 60,000. Why 60,000? We come down here, 60,000 is right around, I'm not even going off support resistance or anything. Actually, it is support resistance right at 60,000, surprisingly enough. But it's kind of more of this story. Okay, we really want to see Bitcoin hold 60. Why? Because we don't want Bitcoin to kind of fall through this pocket of volume and come down to this spike. Because this spike right here is at 51.6. And that would actually be about the bottom of the bull flag. That would be down here. And then this other volume spike at 42,000, we don't even want to have this conversation. It's October. We want to bounce and bip. All right. So basically what I'm saying here is at the bottom of this new little wedge, if we shot right down there in the next week, we're talking, I'm going to say 55,000. If we came down here over the course of October, maybe bled out for the month, we'd be talking 56.7. And if we, came over here to the beginning of the year, we'd be talking 61.7. If we did, kind of something like this, will we respect this new trend? Is kind of the thesis here. All right. And ultimately, this is a trend within a trend. All right. And I think, Bitcoin really, 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 if we're all things considered, this level, where's the one? Right here. This one. I'd really like to see Bitcoin hold this. That's not a perfect drawing. Let me get it right on that top. All right, right there. Because this level kind of had the bottoms here, a couple perfect bottoms here, rejected here. And then on our way up here, we actually paused out here for a second. Right there. All right. All relevant. Let me pull this back over. Oh, I just totally messed up. All right. This level is 60,600. I'm going to say 60,700. 60,700. We really want to hold that level. That would be a big alarm to set along with this. There is a case where we could come down to the bottom of this new formation, like I said, which would be between 54 and 56. Really, if we do come down to here and bounce here and put in another higher low, that would structurally be pretty sweet, dude. I'm okay if Bitcoin bleeds as long as it turns around right here. All right. And this very well could happen. I would obviously like to see Bitcoin hold its ground a little bit here. I'd like to see it put up a fight. But, right now we on day 23, exactly. When that alarm went off, my jaw kind of hit the floor because I was like, I was right. I called it, so I do this for a living, people. I do this for a living. All right. Let me check out the chat here. Still printing the bull div on what time frame though? Well, yeah, we could be for sure. Yeah, if say this is, the big, momentum push down, this turns around on the daily, prints like this and goes like that, that would technically, yes, be bullish divergence. You never know that for sure. This thing could come down further like that, or it could, kind of double bottom on the oscillator, maybe some sort of exaggerated divergence or something like that. Exaggerated divergences are a thing. Yeah. So, and also we do also on the 2 hour, we kind of want to be aware of, how we kept track of all the uptrends within the trend line, right? Now we want to be aware of at least this new little downtrend, right? Because this is really the only line that matters for me right now. Because if you were, how I have all these up lines, well, if you came down and drew the down lines, right, you would be able to kind of get that same type of, detection, the trends within the trends, right? So if you kind of have that in mind, this with the new highs that this has printed, this is a pretty sharp angle down. For the sake of argument, let's just go to a trend angle, put that on that point of intersection. Yeah, this is a 58-degree angle. That's pretty sharp for a downtrend. It's pretty sharp for a downtrend. So, yeah, I would like to see this. It might come down, 57. Maybe 56, but like I said, the new focus is this new sort of wedge that has formed from Bitcoin's higher highs, higher lows, and ultimately we want to see both of these patterns get destroyed. All right, and it's very possible. All right, but also you just kind of got to be aware, and we were looking at the 2 hour chart there. On the daily, my I don't show some was it still printing bull div. I was looking at the 2 hour before. This is the daily right now. No bull div in sight here. It would have to form one from here. All right. So I just wanted to clear that up too. All right. So let me check the chat here for a minute. Sweet. Cool beans. All right. So couple things. Today I'm going to do a lot of posts in the Telegram group today. I posted once or twice over the weekend. I was kind of sitting back. I did not trade this weekend. It's also like my parents' birthday and stuff like that. But I have been noticing some alarms going off and some things that are forming that I was like kind of hesitant about posting. A lot of times I will kind of sit, if I find like a different chart, I will sit on it for a little bit to kind of see how it's going to play out, because I don't like posting ideas that I'm not sure of to at least a certain degree of certainty. And I know like you're reacting to the chart either way, but at the same time, there have been a couple charts I've been wanting to post that I haven't posted yet. Couple things really quick here. Wanted to yeah, this is actually hilarious. Wait, where did this go? 1 second. I'm trying to where the hell is it? All right, whatever. I just wanted to show you guys really fast, very funny. 2 years ago, yesterday, was my first YouTube video about Algorand. It was on an original BitBoy Crypto channel. Look at Baby Beaver AJ. Look at him go. Talking about, look at that triangle. Look at that triangle right there. You know what that is? You know what that is? That's hilarious, man. 4 seconds. 4 seconds. That was 2 years ago. A lot can change in 2 years, guys. A lot can change in 2 years. Happy birthday to my dad. Happy birthday to Targano. This is kind of something I wanted to talk about. I did do this tweet on September 27th about the Algorand head and shoulders chart that was forming. Very close to, it did break the neckline, but it was very close to the support resistance breakout. I do want you guys to be aware of this setup. So it did momentarily break the neckline, but really this support resistance level of the previous high is also a big thing that has to get checked off there. And this thing did come up this and just get rejected right back down. That's not really what we want to see. But also, I want you to be aware of this, is that if you kind of connect these lows from October 23 to the body of the candle on August 5th to the candle on September 5th, Algorand has been forming a kind of slow uptrend through this. All right. And if Bitcoin and all of those continue down, I feel like we are going to give back some of the gains that we got from September, right? I think October could start bloody, like I said in that video last week that no one wanted to hear. And so and that trend line's about 11% down the hill, about 11.5 cents. If Algorand goes below 11.5 cents, we kind of got to worry about this previous wick. All right, because it did wick below this, but it doesn't count if it's a wick in my mind. It has to be the body of the candle. So be aware of that trend line if you're following along with Algorand. And guys, it's not like I'm losing all my faith here. I did even put in the Telegram group that this alarm went off on Phantom when I was in Maryland right here. And I was just kind of like, Phantom could roll over here. Of course, set a type stop. That wasn't like from the moment the alarm went off. Sure, it was good for 2%, but we also, if we were kind of existing inside of the levels themselves, because what I'll always say is that this is straight from the Telegram group. I am giving you my Phantom setup right now, and what I'm saying here is that anytime there is an uptrend or a downtrend that we're following, all right, can you go long or short from the break of the trend? Yes, you can. but a lot of times the better trade is actually to wait for the level. The trend is kind of more of the awareness, and the level is the safer entry. You can go from the trend, but it's a riskier trade. And it was kind of funny to me that, you know, I that these alarms were still here. I haven't elongated them since the last time I looked at this chart, but then from the break of 66 to that top, you know, 11% in 10 hours, and then from the break of 68 to this top, you know, 11% in another day. And now since then, you know, Phantom has kind of wicked back, kind of doing the song and dance here on the 12-minute. Where the hell is my EMA? Okay. And so Phantom is still kind of loosely respecting this uptrend. And I also want you guys to be aware of this 71.6 level that it just broke as well, but it is below the 50 EMA. I would also want to add in this one right here, 73.3, and then of course local top as well. And I really like that 73.3 level because it is pretty damn close with this volume spike. And that's what I mean by a volume weighted support resistance. It's not just support resistance, but it's also tethered to a spike in the volume profile. So it's kind of difference between volume weighted and striated levels. That's kind of more of a deeper thing. But yeah, so I'm kind of watching Phantom on this EMA sandwich right here, because obviously the 50 is going to come down and the 200 is going to do what it's going to do. And I'm kind of fine with, you know, kind of setting an alarm here at 71.6, setting an alarm here at 73.3, and then kind of reacting to what happens inside this EMA sandwich right here. So, but it has really been tough to follow this because this trend line, man, it's like it's trying to lose it. It's trying to lose it, but every time it dips below it, it's almost like you want to draw a second one here, because this is like kind of the new trend line of the bottoms that it just won't break. So yeah, make sure you keep a close eye on Phantom. I think this one's going to shape up to be a big trade. It does have a really big box of chop right here. What do I mean by that box of chop? Box of chop is like, you know, where a lot of volume is, where when something ranges like this for a while, you kind of fill this in, right? It does have an outlier, but ultimately it came right back into the range and stayed in this box, right? Well, that's also kind of aligns with the point of control. So when you kind of measure, okay, from the current price down to that level, before I scrolled over, I mean, we are talking 11% down to 62 cents, 64 cents around there. You know what I mean? So I would not be surprised that if Phantom was to break structure, if it ends up back in this box of chop where the top level here is 66.4. All right. And the bottom level is 63.2, which I also have. Yeah, right there. I'll add the 2 later, but you get my point. So if you want to catch more setups like this, guys, make sure you join the Telegram group. This is our bit from last week, our graphic from last week. Haven't made a new one yet, but that week, holy shit, we traded good. A lot of the wins. I don't post all the wins. I just grab the ones I see. I love how active the Telegram group has been lately. And guys, I literally have been looking at your trading ideas. It's actually really cool. So there are 2 channels in the Telegram group. One of them is mine. That's where I post my trade ideas, my setups, what I'm thinking. I even gave you the reminder, hey guys, it's day 23. It's day 23. And I said that before Bitcoin fell. So yeah, really great group. But now there's the channel inside the group. There's the channel where I post, and then there's a channel for the groggers, for everyone else, where you post your trading wins or your own trading ideas. And guys, some of your trading ideas are really good, and I do want to share them with everyone. And maybe we can do that one of these days. So yeah, obviously, guys, if you want to join the Telegram group, send me an email at ajalphagroup@gmail.com. Take your trading to the next level. We've been doing really well over there. Amazing. So I do have to do a couple other little things here. Obviously, before we get into that, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This week's going to be a good one. I do have a portfolio update coming soon. I have been putting off the public build of the very large portfolio, and now you know why, because you know everything's kind of coming down, and it would have been suicide to have built that. I should have built it when the idea first happened, But then I talked myself out of it, and then the market ran without me. And then I knew the market was going to roll over, and it did. And I'm talking about building a new portfolio, not the bags I already have. And then it did. And now I'm like, I'm going to wait for at least Bitcoin to maybe get to the bottom of that wedge, or to see, how October is going to develop. And if I don't have a public portfolio, if I miss time a public portfolio, that's not really the end of the world for me. But I do want to make it for content. So that's important. I will have a sweet price prediction coming this week as well. Certainly I'll do a 4 charts in 4 minutes. And I do have a couple interviews coming down the pipe as well. So got a lot of really good stuff here. There is news I really want to talk about, but I can't talk about yet. You'll find out this week. It's that simple. And I am going to Permissionless in Salt Lake City. If you go to that crypto conference, make sure you come and say hello. It would be really good to see you. And also, Jada and I, we might be going to Argentina. After Permissionless, there is an Avalanche Summit, the Latin America Avalanche Summit in Argentina. We do have the door open to go. I'm not sure if we're going to go. It really comes down to like my bandwidth and my schedule. Would I like to go to Argentina? Yes. Will I go? I hope so. But if it comes down to like, it's killing me, my schedule, because understand, like, I'm writing this trading course, and everything I'm writing for that trading course, I can't make into YouTube videos. So it's kind of just like lost time on YouTube. So obviously I have pulled back a little bit with my live streams. Instead of doing 5 a week, I do 3 or 4 a week, and I have a members only stream. So it's like, I still have to make normal YouTube videos outside of my live stream, and I still have to do my live stream. So it's kind of like it's a lot, but we're getting through it one day at a time. Tristan Gage says, if Bitcoin hits 60K, I'm going in with 5K at 50x leverage. Hey, that's not the worst idea, my friend. Oh yeah, those 2 super chats. I totally forgot. Thanks for reminding me. Gregory Ward, I wrote you a DM on X. When you get a chance, Blocky is in on that too. All right, sounds good, Gregory. If it's a meme coin, I'm not going to talk about it. Yuyo323, hey AJ, are we still bullish on H-bar? Yes, of course we're still bullish on H-bar. Let's pull the H-bar chart up here. So I will admit that I did back up from posting about H-bar on Twitter as much as I used to, and that had everything to do with whatever happened or didn't happen at the H-bar Foundation. And it is important, just like the MyAlgo hack that happened with Algorand, to separate Hedera from the H-bar Foundation, because I don't think the people at Hedera, I don't even really know the story. I just know a lot of rumors, and it was really looking bad there for a while. And I didn't want what happened at the foundation to permanently stain the good reputation of Hedera, because I love Hedera. I really like Lehman. I've always been a big fan of H-bar. But it was just kind of getting really washy there for a while. And then there were even people like pointing the finger at me like, oh, you shouldn't have done paid content for Hedera. Like, oh, really? Like, when did Hedera ever send me a check? Like, when did Hedera ever once pay me for anything? You know what I mean? Like, I did a video with Earthlings, which is a game built on Hedera, sure, but I never, like, I am partnered with Algorand and VeChain. I was never partnered with Hedera. And it's also just really annoying that like people want, oh, like this project needs more marketing. And then the projects, hire media partners to not just make media, but also to connect them to other media partners, which is one of my main functions, because I have a really big network of people. I know just about everyone in crypto. And, I do that. And then it's just like, oh, like you're just a paid shill. Well, I'm like, do you want marketing or not? Like, do you not want people to like a web of people talking about this project, or is everyone that says anything about every coin a paid shill? Like, where do you draw the line? You know what I mean? So basically what I'm getting to is that one, unless you have been in this line of work before, you don't really know what goes into it. Number one. Two, if you're at a point of your life where you have devolved to typing on the internet, you're a shill, I just feel bad for you. And two, I have like, I really like Hedera and I really want to see it succeed. But in the same breath, I just took a step back because I wanted to see what was going to happen. And I really don't think it ended up being this like soul crushing, defeating story for them. I don't think that it really hurt that much. You know, I know that they're kind of restructuring the foundation. I know that there were some people that were getting paid way too much. There was rumors of wash trading, and there was kind of rumors of some wishy stuff going around. And the H-Bar Bull, we talked about it on his channel. Go watch his channel. He explains the whole thing, and we talked about it as well. And I'll certainly give that credit to him, because I don't want to tell the story, because he knows a lot more of it than I do. I actually was personally affected by what happened, because I'm not going to say the name, but I was going to like manage KOLs for a project. And all right, let's do a little story here. A KOL is a knowledge opinion leader. It's a fancy word for influencer. All right. So like, and it is kind of like a slight difference between a media partner and a KOL. Regardless, like if you wanted to say, you know, I'm a KOL for VeChain, you could say that. And that's fine. But I was going to KOL manage a project that was being built on Hedera. I'm not going to say their name. And basically what happened was, and I knew about this from the beginning, was that they were on the verge of green lighting a very large budget. And I had a handful of other influencers to make videos and to talk about and to use this new thing that was being built on Hedera. And also I liked that it was on Hedera, because I want to see projects like this on Hedera succeed. And it's not like there was a token or anything attached to it. It was just a pretty cool project, to be honest. And basically I had, you know, I kind of got my ducks in a row on who could all, you know, work for this project. And the H-Bar Foundation didn't pay them. And they were like promised a certain amount of money for their budget, and they didn't get paid. So it was just kind of like, and I knew about that before the rumors came out. So I was like what's happening here? Like what's really happening here? And at the time I knew that Hedera had nothing to do with it. I knew that it wasn't Hedera and that it was the foundation's problem. But at the time, I also didn't know how hard the residual washback would affect Hedera. Like, is this going to really mess them up? And ultimately, it did not, which is great. And the foundation's working its stuff out. It was kind of basically a bump in the road. But from where I stood for a while, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was. And that's totally fair to say. And it's fair for me to be cautious. And it's, you know, I'm not, you know, contractually required to talk about them if I don't want to. And ultimately, I'm good on the project. I never sold my Hedera. You know what I mean? I have $20,000, $30,000 in H-Bar, probably a little bit more, because I have it in a couple different wallets. I haven't added it up in a while. But I didn't sell it because I was just kind of like, man, I don't think this is enough to take them down. But there was a little while there when I was a little worried about them. So that's totally fair, right? So, and I mean, and to be fair, the H-Bar chart isn't the best. I mean, I certainly wish every dollar I held in this coin I had in SWI. That's for sure. But I'm also very bullish on H-Bar, and I always have been. And I mean, this is just one that has not really. Let me find a clean chart that doesn't have. I really think it's going to take time for Hedera, and I feel like some of the slow cook type projects, it's going to pay off in the long run, because we really do like. I mean, look how. Oh, this is not correct. I don't know who drew this one. Not me. I'll tell you that. It's not from the swing low. All right, let me here. I'll read. I like the idea though. Yeah, let me go to the daily. Bang. Get rid of this. Sorry for the wait here. I am going to get to the super chats, and I have a couple rate my portfolios that I wanted to get to as well. Oh, this chart doesn't go back far enough. That's why. Okay. All right. Let me get some. I always have chart graffiti on every single chart. Every chart just has so much graffiti. And this is from the cup and handle, video. This one did play out pretty well. Almost there. That was good. So, all right. So, couple things. If you kind of want to consider this downtrend like that, kind of bad. If you want to draw it from the very top, it's not as intimidating. But also, if you draw like the most recent downtrend with the most touches, you could have considered that a breakout, but not really. Also, if you want to, this thing obviously has a long way to go from where it is to the, this high here from the March high is 150% up the hill. But then the BlackRock high, which was also a big time dropped ball from the foundation, is the 228% way back to 18 cents. Do I think Hedera can recover this one day? Absolutely, I do. But it's also one of those situations where, okay, at least we have put in, higher highs, or at least double bottoms. We didn't like completely break structure. All right. So that's good to see. Number one. Number two is if we, kind of pull, oops, I mean, do that. Yeah, let me get rid of the volume profile. It's not really helping us right now. All right. Get rid of this. All right. If we pull a fib from, the bottom of the end of 22, 23, where's that line right here to the BlackRock high. All right. So, this thing has struggled. This wick right here is kind of the story for me right there. It basically aligns with some support resistance, very close to being a perfect support resistance level that aligns with fib. And that's at 0.668 or 0.666. So the devil's level is at the 786. All right. To get back to there would be a 22% rip up for Hedera. I do think this thing will ultimately recover. But I also feel that, and it does have a lot of upside, but it's also it obviously, don't tell me it doesn't pump. Don't tell me it doesn't pump from October 23 to that high. I mean, it pumped 200% 150 days in the end of last year, early this year. So Hedera has that ability, but it is certainly a weaker coin, considering that in the Fibonacci, it's between the 1 and the 786. And that's not really what you want to see. But it's also kind of tough to decipher. It does have a little bit of a bullish divergence playing out a little bit, but now it's ultimately coming up here and getting rejected. So on the daily chart, we are going to kind of follow, is Hedera going to hold the 50 EMA, is going to break down? This is a tough one. This chart's not easy to detect. But really, like I said, this level right here is the level, because this is kind of the difference between, these value area ranges, and like the next staircase kind of gets unlocked at 0.666. So that would be the alarm I set. And that's the level where I would want to buy a lot more Hedera at 666. The truth is, I think the bump in the road is over. Hopefully that's over. Hopefully they completely recover from that. I think from the standpoint of, I liked the project. I have a lot of respect for Lehman Baird. I really want to see them succeed. From like that angle, I really like Hedera. I always have. I've always been a fan. Shout out to the H Barbarians, man. Like totally. It's a great project, and it's even great community. Like, I mean, Hedera, it's funny how like Hedera, Algorand, and VeChain have better communities than coins in the top 15, top 20. It's wild. But in the same breath, from like a strength perspective, like the chart itself, the Hedera chart is not looking the best. Do I think it's probably a good time to accumulate? Probably. But also, there are so many good coins to buy right now, man. I'm fine with holding Hedera. I hold Hedera, but it's not my main focus to DCA at the moment. All right, I will go as far to say that. Desert Crypto, member for 4 months. Hit the likes and share this alpha. It's free. 666. Yikes, says JC. Thank you, Desert Crypto. I appreciate you, Harley. I really do. Near daily. Everyone needs some days off now and then. Please do charts for Sweet and the Graph. I can certainly do that. But before I do that, all right, Sweet and the Graph. I got through the super chats. Ben is not live streaming today, so I'm totally fine with going a little bit over. I do have over 200 people watching the show right now on this Tuesday, October 1st. Guys, thanks so much for being here. It really means a lot to me. I take a couple days off. I go to Maryland. I kind of relax for the weekend, and I come back, and boom, there's over 200 people here. So guys, that means the world to me. Like, you guys are amazing, and all of you, more than 200. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I got more viewers, but then I think to myself, if I was standing in this fucking room and there was 200 people in here, I'd be losing my mind. You know what I mean? So I do really appreciate, how strong of a community we have here at AJ Writes Crypto, and you guys rock. And you all woke up this morning and are watching the show because you want to learn about crypto, because you want to, replicate what Ben did, replicate what I did, and find success in crypto. That's ultimately why we're here, is to make money, to change our lives. And just the fact that you're making efforts by even watching videos on YouTube to change your life, that is, like, at the very least, a step forward. And I don't want you to stop that journey today. Your journey today is not over when this video ends. It really just got going. I want you to, find some books to read, to find some more educational videos to watch, maybe start like a journal, or, go on a hike and think about how you're going to, like, game plan your next month. Like, I really am a big fan of people that go out there and get it. I'm really a big fan of people that kind of take the world by the horns and write it down. So I'm just saying that YouTube is a great place to start. I learned everything I know about trading from YouTube, but I also want you guys to know that crypto is not a hobby. It's a lifestyle, and it's the lifestyle of the constant pursuit of education. And those of you that truly absorb that statement and learn everything you can, you will win. You will 100% win. It's all up to you. Okay. Rock Hall, Maryland in the house. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. Shout out to Rock Hall. We do have a spot in Tolchester. That's pretty cool. Evening from England. Shout out to my guy Mick Ballinger watching from England. Thanks for being here. Actually, I had a new Telegram group member from India as well. I swear we got groggers all over the world. Jay Edits, can you check out Ada? Ben is saying it's dead. He's nuts and not patient. Ben and I used to do a show called Crypto Crossfire, where we would argue about shit. And he's not good at losing arguments. and he's not good at losing arguments, and we don't do the show anymore. And but we have talked about it, and we are going to bring Crypto Crossfire back, maybe on this channel. Maybe like one a month or something like that, because we do love to argue. And people are always like, you got like, there was like this guy that commented, I did a Cardano post. He was like, I thought you guys hated Cardano. And I'm like, you guys? Like, yeah, like, Ben's my friend, but do you know how much we disagree on a daily basis? I think the reason we became friends is because I was the only person that I would be like, Ben, that's such a bad idea. Like, don't. You know what I mean? Because, like, I feel like at Hit Network, a lot of people would kind of like walk on eggshells with Ben. And if he did something I thought was dumb, I'd be like, yo, that's dumb. And, I've told him time and time again, I think the fact that I was willing to just be real with him and like kind of have like those natural arguments, like we've argued about like literally everything. And I really think that's kind of where we like found our friendship, or certain like a friendship forged in fire kind of thing. But we are going to bring Crossfire back, and when we do, the first episode will be about Cardano, because I'm not turning my back on Cardano. Absolutely not. All right, so I'm going to look at the Cardano chart. I'll save that for the end. Sweet and the graph, 2 charts you wanted to see as well. Also, you guys make sure you smash the like buttons. I am going to cover these 2 portfolios that I missed from last week. And then I'll say Thursday, there's also a portfolio from someone from the Telegram group I've been wanting to cover. I'll cover that one Thursday. What I'll do these 2 right now. All right, Psycholand, $5 super chat from last week. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. 10K portfolio, looking for a 20x. Oh, God. Avalanche, 2%. Link, 2. All right, normally, dude, you do the largest to smallest. You lose 3 points for that. The Graph 25, Algo 20, Jewel 18, Vet 18, HBAR 15, Link 2, A Vector. All right, I don't understand why would you have 2% of anything in a $10,000 portfolio, because that's what, like $200. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, what's that really going to do? I think having, anytime you're in my opinion, 25% of one coin is too much. Because even if the rest of your portfolio kicks serious ass, if anything goes wrong with the graph, I think that you're going to struggle. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and the funny thing is about this is that I will say this about my favorite coin, and not that the graph is my favorite coin, but my personal portfolio. My largest holding is GRT. To this day, my largest holding is the graph, because I think it's going to be a big winner. I do. That was like a money move from my part. All right. But even then, 25%, man, that's a lot. Hold on, I gotta check something. I need to check on something here. But my point here is, even if it's my favorite coin, if you have bad distribution, you have bad distribution. And I think 25% is a lot. And I also think it's completely pointless to have, 2% of AVAX, 2% of Link. So if you wanted to shave some of the graph and then pick Avalanche or Link, so it could be 20 graph, 20 algo, whatever, and then have, 8% Link or whatever, that wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world. But at the same time, man, sorry, I had to message Jada because she's grocery shopping. I don't mind the coin selection, but all the eggs in one basket approach always freaks me out, man. Diversification is very important. It's very important. I don't hate it, but Psycholand, it really, to be honest with you, your picks are fine. The 10K is great, but my problem with this portfolio, and the reason you're getting a bad score, is that you're looking for a 20x. It's not going to happen. And this is where I come in and say, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say what you want to hear so you like the video. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And what you need to hear is that if you are building a portfolio of any crypto, and your goal is a 20x, you will not get there. You will ride it to the top, and you will ride it right back down to the bottom, because it's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. And for the people that have the common infectious human deficiency of I want more, crypto is not it. Because you're never going to have enough. And when you never have enough, you're never going to get anything, because you're always going to hold it wanting more, and then you're going to ride it right back down to the bottom. All right. So I don't care what coins you have. I will never go ahead and say, oh, that's a good 20x portfolio. No, it's not going to happen. All right. And I would rather sit you down and be like, hey, what's wrong with the 6x? What's wrong with the 7x? That we can do. But like, I can't with any degree of confidence come on here and pat you on the back and say, oh yeah, you're going to 20x. I don't want to lie to you guys, because how many things out there can actually 20x? Not many. And whatever does, we don't know what it is now. And I think it's totally fair that it's fair to want, it's fair to have a good goal. It's fair to want to make the most of it. But if you have a goal that's a 20x, you need to have a plan B, C, D, E, rest of the alphabet, because plan A probably isn't going to happen. And if you get to a 6x, are you going to sell anything? Nothing at all? It's going to hold it to the bottom? Yeah, my point. I can't give you a good score because your goal is way too high. And he's in the chat. Wonder what he thinks of Jewel. I'm kind of indifferent. I mean, I can I've seen that coin before, but for the life of me, I don't remember if I ever looked it up. I've seen the ticker around. I'm not going to put this on the screen, but I will. Oh, it's DeFi Kingdoms. Oh, okay. I know DeFi Kingdoms. DeFi Kingdoms is Dreamer's project. I didn't know that was the ticker. Yeah, I mean, it's like outside the top 1,000. Certainly has a long way to go from its $16.9 million market cap. The tokenomics aren't terrible. I also know that this project was launched last run and it had some success and then kind of fell down with the rest of crypto gaming. And they're trying to make a recovery. To be fair, Dreamer is a friend of mine on a personal level. So he's a good guy. And I really like what he's doing. Because he's my friend, am I completely sure his project's going to rip to the moon? I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I like him. He's a great guy. But I don't know. You know what I mean? I hope so. You know what I mean? But it's also just like, you know, I can't let, like, I'm not going to say something just because someone's my friend. You know what I mean? And, you know, I wish him the best. And you know, we've even talked about like doing videos or whatever on DeFi Kingdoms, but I'm also not sure. I haven't played it yet, to be honest with you. So, I mean, if you want to put, you know, 18% of your portfolio into a crypto gaming coin outside of the top 1,000, hey, you never know. You might 20x or you might get wrecked. But hey, best of luck. Single out with the 20x goal. I really can't give you anything above a 60 because the whole point of Rate My Portfolio, or above a 50, I mean, because the whole point of Rate My Portfolio is the likelihood of you achieving your goal. And I think if your goal is a 20x, the likelihood of you achieving your goal is not very good. And I am sorry. I just don't want to see, and I'm not being rude. I just don't want to see you make money and ride to the bottom because that's what happens. Crypto Stone, 17.6 portfolio, Arrow 21, GFI 18, Ondo 16, ABT about 16, PNG 15, Vet 12. Looking to get at least 100 grand, maybe too risky with 1 0, 1 0. I mean, any suggestions? Well, I know. So Arrow is one of those coins that like I got into it as it was coming up. And this is not the right chart. I need a chart that goes all the way back. Now, guys, I'm not. I should have said to not send any more portfolios after these ones, but I'll do Eli's and then that's it because I want to go over the charts I promised as well. Oops. I'm trying to pull an Arrow. Oh, an Arrow chart that goes all the way back. Okay, and I'm not pulling the Telegram one either. All right. Well, I know this isn't all of it, but you know, because I got it up on the way, like on the way up here. I'll just damn it. All right. All right. So here is the all right. So it did break out from here. And I remember I posted this way back in the summertime. 73% in 9 days. It bottomed around 50 cents at the beginning of September. It pumped 161% in 23 days. And I do hold some of this in my portfolio. I do hold some of this in some of my portfolio that I'm building with Jada. My portfolio does have some of this in it. And it did rip pretty significantly. All right. And it needs to hold that support resistance level right there from this top back here. That is $1.06. I would certainly set an alarm at $1.06. And if it's to go from its current price here up to boom, 115% away from 2024 high. So it does have some upside. We're also very early. This thing's in its infancy here. Although it's at the top of the momentum wave, it is also it kind of just came into the green on the money flow, about to get the bull cross on the daily chart EMA. So although I think it's going to retest along with everything else, certainly, I mean, as long as the Bitcoin story that we talked about very early in the show, as long as this thing is coming down, We can't really expect too many alts to really rock and roll and continue. We have to see what happens with Bitcoin and how far it's going to come down before it tries to do another push up inside the bull flag. So, but it is good to see that this thing woke up. Let me get a quick reminder here on AER. A quick reminder here on its tokenomics situation. 112 by market cap. So, okay, so about half of the supply is in the game. All right, I guess I'll do the whole thing here. Token unlocks. Oh, I know that there are some, did it not show up? Okay, token not found. That's different. Yeah, on token unlocks, it says token not found when I search Arrow. Interesting. Okay, well, I'll have to do my homework on the vesting schedule for Arrow another time. But I know a lot of people are bullish on it. I know it's one of those projects that has kind of worked its way from the 300s to the 200s to now just outside the top 100. So there is a chance that this thing continues, and really once, because this is the all-time high for it, right? And that's about 112% away, like I said. And once we get to that point, it's in price discovery. And once something's in price discovery, it's really hard to tell what's going to happen. All right. So I don't hate it, and I hold some of it myself. So there's that. GFI, that's one I like. Ondo, I like Ondo, but be aware that the supply is going to increase by 134% here in a couple months. ABT, PNG, VET. I don't hate this bag, man. And you're really not even trying to 10x it. You know what I mean? You're looking for like a 6, really. I don't hate this bag for 100K. I don't hate it at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coins. I mean, obviously, like, this is kind of a new school bag with a splash of VeChain. I don't hate it. I also think that when you're leading with a coin that's outside the top 100, ask yourself. You asked me in this super chat. Maybe too risky. Any suggestions? Well, my observation is that you're leading with the coin that's outside of the top 100. Is it too risky? I don't know. But no risk, no reward. Scared money don't make money. And I feel that as long as you're okay with rolling the dice, you do have a roll the dice type of portfolio. And I think that I like to give you a score on the likelihood of you achieving your goal. I'm going to say like about an 80, 79, 80. C plus, B minus. All right. Hey, Eli. So Eli gave me a super chat for portfolio, and I'm not doing any more after Eli, but he did send a $10, and he also gave me the K's next to Eli. He did way too much work here, bro. I'm just gonna say HBAR 14, near 8, Algo 7, Cardano 7, AKT 6.9, Singularity Net 6.5. What about the merger? The graph 6.5, and then smaller amounts of ICP, Pyth, XRP, Arweave, Injective, Ondo, RIB, Arrow. His portfolio is 100K and 10 to 20x. All right. First of all, Eli, what does 10 to 20x mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, are you going to sell anything at 10x, or do you not really know what your goal is? I feel the latter is more likely, because here's the problem. No one knows what their goal is because they don't know what the coins are going to do, and they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna write it. Like, I get that, but I guess maybe I'm just super analytical, and for every coin I hold, I have scenario A, scenario B, scenario C based off of price action and time frame. And I am like, I have overthought my plan of attack to the degree it's like it might be too much. And I think especially, Eli, when you're holding a bag with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, Eli, 15 coin bag. You're not going to properly manage this bag, more than likely. Every time, I would say between 8 and 10 is kind of the sweet spot on coins, or even like 7 to 9, really not bad. But every time you have that many coins in a portfolio and you buy another coin, I want you to make the analogy in your mind of you're adopting another child, because every child needs time and attention to learn about, to recognize its habits, to know when you get what I'm saying here. Because it's not that I don't think your portfolio is going to pump, because I think it will, but I fear that you can't handle 15 babies. Because unless this is all you're doing and all you do is crypto for your full time, I felt like you might be a guy that makes money, which is great. And you might have thrown a lot of money at a bunch of letters. And I want you to understand that to manage a portfolio that has 15 coins in it properly, how much work that is. People just, you're not going to sell all the coins on the same day. People do, but are we trying to optimize this, or are we just trying to price go up? You know what I mean? And, you know, and it is kind of interesting how you have so many coins, but then like you have a really heavy distribution into HBAR, which is really unfortunate considering like how, like we just looked at that chart and talked about how I really like the project, but this chart is not strong. That is a bummer, and you've probably bought it a lot higher than what it is now, so you're kind of stuck in that situation. I don't know if you're planning on DCAing more or what, but ultimately, regardless of what happened to your portfolio, the point is your goal is a 10 to 20x, Eli. I see in the chat we're going to need we're going to need a more accurate goal here. All right. And yeah, we're going to need, because 10 to 20x isn't good enough for me. Do you want to 11x? Do you want to 8x? You know what I mean? Because basically it has everything to do with your, and Tristan, I will get to your super chat. It has everything to do with when you're going to pull the plug on this thing, man, because, you know, I don't know. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. And I think that when someone, my whole point here, it's a big ass rant. Basically, my point is when someone says my goal is a 10 to 20x, that means you don't know what you want. And what I want you to do, Eli, is I want you to go through every single coin you have and make at least 2 scenarios on at what time by you know, this time next year, if the price is here, what you're going to do. If the price is here, what you're going to do. If you're going to sell 60% and hold the rest, sell 80%, hold the rest, sell 100% if it hits X, stuff like that. I want you to run through a couple scenarios with each and every coin. And then I want you to have a number, your personal number to sell 70% for each and every coin. And then I want you to add that all up if that was to happen. And then tell me how many X's that is. And I bet you it's not 10. And I don't think you realize what it would take for all of these coins to 10x. Yeah, man. AJB spazzing. I don't know what I said, but I'm sure you're right. All right. But yeah, to give you a score, Eli, man, I'm not sure, because your score, but I can't give you a score, Eli, because it has everything to do with your goal. So I would give you a different score. So if your goal is a 20x, your score is a 5, because it's not going to happen. And if your goal is a 10x, your score is like a 69, 70, maybe. Because that's like, I'm really not sure on how you're going to play it. I think it's too many coins. Can you properly manage this bag? It's a lot. It's a lot. Tristan Gage. Hey, AJ, I was looking for some good chart technical analysis books to buy, but I have no clue which are good or not. Help, please. Okay. To be honest with you, I bought these a while back. Technical Analysis for Dummies, Day Trading for Dummies. Although it's not crypto, a lot of the ideas in this book and like patterns, volume, confluence, it's all there. It's all there. And it is a for dummies book, but it actually really explains it in a way. You guys, you have to pay attention to how many books I read about this stuff. And if I was just to like give someone a generic book to kind of get the basics, that would be it, to be honest with you. Are there other ones? Yeah, but those ones kind of cover all the bases. And here's the truth that people don't want you to know. I want to tell you something people don't want you to know, especially like the gatekeeper people in crypto who like create these indicators that no one understands and like back test themselves only under certain conditions and like act like TA is this unbreakable, decipherable, broken, blah, blah, blah. Like there are people that are influencers in crypto that want you to think TA is impossibly hard, and they only say that so you keep listening to them. Fuck them. That's not true. TA is not impossible. TA is a crackable code. The reason I have an edge on the market is because I understand the concept of confluence. Because at the end of the day, there's only so much to technical analysis. Once you get past your candles, your candle patterns, your chart patterns, like, you know, the head and shoulders, cup and handle, descending wedge, ascending triangle, all that stuff. All right. And then you pair that with some sort of or a combination of momentum oscillator, whether that's an RSI, a stochastic RSI, MACD, something like that. And then you pair that with volume, like, oh, that was bad. Some sort of like income volume, like how much like a money flow on Market Cipher, and pair that with a volume profile, like it's on the left, and then you can kind of compare that with like a heat map of some sort on CoinGlass. And then you also want to take into account social metrics like how many Twitter followers, how much engagement do they get? Like, you know, social metrics matter too, but that's kind of more of a sentiment thing than a technical thing, but it still matters in a technical thing. And then basically you pair that with some sort of SMA, EMA, moving average, and it really comes down to what strategy you're using. All right? Because those are all the elements of technical analysis. Like everything I just said, you know, we want to throw in Bollinger Bands and Fibonacci, fine, but like, you know, like that's it. That's it. And like, say you're a general and you're going to war and you get to this battlefield and it's in a cave or it's going through a mine or something. You're going to use a different strategy in that environment than you would if you were in an open field, right? So basically what I'm saying is that TA is not rocket science. It's not this unbreakable code. You, as the general about to go to battle with your liquidity, you need to know what strategies to use in which environment. All right. And in each environment has its own tendencies, has its own, you know, breakout points, its own liquidity, its own, you know, different volume, you know, it's all, each battle scenario is different. And you're going to use a different strategy based off the scenario, the environment you're in, right? And it doesn't, there is not some like magical sprinkle code. There is not some like one thing you can look at that's going to make sure it's confluence. Confluence, when it all comes together to tell the same story. All right. And that is TA. TA is confluence. So once you understand the basics, momentum, volume, you know, patterns, all that shit that I already explained, then you have to determine the environment you're in. And then once you have the environment you're in, you know what strategy to use. And then once you have a strategy that works for you in this environment, you find it might not work for you in this other environment. So then I need to think of something that happens in this environment, or you become a trader that only sticks to that one strategy and waits for the environment to come. And you pick your battles carefully. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. That's trading. It's not fun. It's not cute. It's cold. It's It's calculated. It's math. It's statistics. All right. And once you kind of get to that point where you have a lockdown strategy, lockdown strategy, stick to your guns. If you want to, you want to become more colorful, you want to start mixing other things in, fine. But in the way I see it, if I have a thing that I can look for and a combination of things that will check off in a list in my mind, the thing I like to call the Confluence checklist. If I can check off a couple boxes on the Confluence checklist, I have about something like 3 or 4 to 1 risk ratio. I have pretty tight stop loss. Not that worried about it. Basically, what I'm saying is that if there's a strategy that I can deploy that prints money out of magic, alchemy, what it feels like, why would you go all crazy and do all these other things? Just do the shit out of what you figured out. That's if it works, it works, right? If it works, it works, right? One day at a time, guys. One day at a time. It's all about Confluence. I do feel really bad that this comic fell, because this is one of my prized possessions. This is a really rare cover of a comic book called The Department of Truth. Hell of a story if you're a comic book nerd like me, by the way. And this woman, the red woman in that story, is the devil. And I did find it funny that she picked today to jump off the... Was she trying to tell me something, devil lady? Are you trying to give me a message? You never know. All right, guys. Well, that is about all I got for today. Oh, yeah. There was a couple of charts I wanted to look at. I'm going to rip through them pretty fast. We've already been going for a minute, and oh, shit. Did I have a call at 12:30? Oh, it's at 1:30. Okay. Whew. I feel a lot better now. All right. We can do this TA. The graph. Kind of a similar look to H-bar. All right. We do have a little bit more of the, okay, we broke out conversation to have, because depending on how you draw Hedera, it's pretty safe to say it did not break out. Ooh, let me do that. All right. This is obviously a really big level to break from this blah, blah, and this top here. That level is 22.5 cents. All right. We are just like we are on Hedera on the daily chart, testing the 50 EMA after breaking through it. We are 38% away from the biggest support resistance level, like I said, at 22.5 cents. What I do like about this setup is that although it is pretty weak, it has really good curvature on the money flow. You see that curvature on the money flow? And when if you were to just zoom in here on Market Cipher, you see how it's finally starting to become green again right here. All right. And if you kind of look on how the graph, from right here, so from green to green, 92 days. All right. Red, 112 days. And then red again, 112 days exactly again. All right. 99 days. 90 days. You get my point here, right, guys? And then this most recent one was longer, 165 days. So really, a lot of times, the most part, like all of these moves here for the graph, these here are all roughly about 110, 105 days. And this most recent one was like a longer move for the graph. But also, if you drew it from here, which is more accurate, 121 days. Okay, that makes sense, because I'm not counting this one in that measurement, because it actually did come back up right here. I'm going to start from there to there. And so basically we can kind of extrapolate that and say, okay, well, it likes to move, in 100-day patterns, basically, just to put that on the surface. We've already had a couple of those days. So 100 days, by January 4th. So, if this is going to be, a flat green phase for 100 days, which is just a broad statement, not guaranteeing anything, but just kind of like, if it behaves any way at all similar to how it has behaved before, we can expect, maybe this thing to correct itself in the next little while here. I already, what's getting in the way of what I want to say right now is the past couple hours, dude. Because damn. Did it happen during the show? Oh, now I got alarms going off. Oh, there's that phantom alarm, everybody. I don't know why the chart's looking like this. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Oh, did you hear that? That was my neck cracking. I mean, something like that. 2 hour falling down. I mean, really, what I'm going to say here is that I really would like to see these new structures hold. All right. So basically, we're looking at, this right here, everybody, is the beginning of August. All right. August 5th. All right. It's October 1st right now. All right. And the graph has basically had this big move up, big move down, big move up, big move down, probably coming next. But what I'm saying is that finally, after we got wrecked after the top in March, we were in a really big bearish structure. All right. And that kind of corrected itself, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, all the way down the hill. Right. And then right here, something special happened. What was that special thing that happened? The graph finally broke out and put in a higher low and then put in a higher high. So really, there has been a pivot in structure. So we need to make sure that these coins respect these new structures. So I would say, I mean, for any coin you follow, if this has followed, because HBAR, Bitcoin, even with the higher high, higher low, you need to monitor, is this going to follow the structure? All right. And those would all be things I set alarms on. I mean, for sure, this is something I would react to. I would certainly say on the 12-minute chart, and a lot of you know how I like trading the 12-minute. That is one of my strategies in a volatile battlefield. But basically, we are about to get the death cross here. I would be a little gun shy shorting this second. And also on the graph, there is this pretty big SR level back here that kind of separates the middle of this channel. And that's at 15.3. It's at 16 now. If you shorted from there and went to the previous low, that'd be 11%. But also understand that the graph can't lose this. If the graph loses this little blip right here, that's really not good. We at least want to hold this one, but we want to see it continue the structure. And that's my point. All right. And actually, I drew this wrong. Hold on. I just messed up. All right. So be aware of that support resistance level. But this is what I messed up. Oh, I see what I did. I thought I wasn't touching this one, but it's because it's anchored back here. So this is the pattern. Okay. I got confused there myself. But yeah, guys, this dump, obviously this is happening. Day 23, like I said, great start to Uptober. And the graph, and Phantom, for the sake of argument, recently did just set off that trend alarm again. Worth keeping an eye on that Phantom trade. And remember this level here at 69.8, that would be that'd be your short level, and it's a decimal above it right now. It's a decimal above it. Keep that in mind. Might be there. Sweet. All right, I'm pulling a clean chart here because I don't want to show off all my Telegram charts. But guys, SWE has a lot of volume on leverage exchanges. A lot of volume on leverage exchanges. And I mean, look at the rip this thing had. Top to bottom, 274% in 57 days. I remember buying SWE at like 70 cents, 75 cents. Went great. But now look, you see how up here, all these hammer candles, the hammer candles indicate reversal. All right. And look what happened last time. All right. Let's kind of use that experience as, and now right here, because that's kind of like the price. Think of the price like trying to grab the last amount of liquidity it can get. You know, it reaches up to grab it and then, you know, falls down. And you can, the momentum oscillator here is kind of pushing down. It's still in the green, which is good to see. And this is the daily chart. And this thing has had some pretty large candles on the daily. But what I want you to pay attention to on SWE ultimately is this level right here. All right. And that is because this kind of separates this top from this next box. All right. When you kind of break the price action into ranges. And why is this relevant? Because look at the volume profile. Look at that. Look at that. And this volume spike here at 152 is really what's separating SWE from falling back down to $1. This is a dangerous volume profile, guys. This is a dangerous volume profile. And don't act like this isn't possible. 75% dump, 134 days from March 26th to August 7th. That already happened this year. And what I don't like about it is that it didn't put in a higher high. And if Bitcoin turns around, this thing isn't going to just tether away. It's not just going to say, oh, I got this, fam. Hold my beer. That's not going to happen. To be fair, I think that this pump kind of reminds me of a little bit like, you know, this. Because up here, look how far away the price was from the 50 EMA. And now look, the price is even further separated from the 50 EMA. Look how much of a gap that is. When the price is a 31% drop from the 50 EMA, yeah, I really think it's not going to come home. Visit Aunt Emma. That's what I call the EMA, Aunt Emma. You always got to go home to see Aunt Emma. All right. Yeah, man. So this level here, 143. That, I guess that would be ultimately the target if we decide to short. This thing is definitely going to pull back. It's only a matter of when. I would say this is a pretty big level because it kind of had these tops here, and then it bounced off this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times right here, and that was at 161.7. So that's an alarm. Also, this level, it bounced off of this twice now, and is now above it at 174.8. And also notice that in phases of bullish continuation, ladies and gentlemen, the price action stays above the 50 EMA. This is the 2-hour chart, no longer the daily. And the smaller the time frame, the closer it's going to trade to the 50 EMA. What I'm saying here is that on the daily, you see the distance between the price and Aunt Emma. This thing on the daily chart is going to come home to the EMA, or who I like to say, Aunt Emma. All right. But on the 2-hour, you see how it's much closer. Much closer. All right. That's what happens in phases of bullish continuation. All right. So, you know, we're staying above. You get my point. So now it might be that time for this thing to roll over. Also, if you wanted to even kind of draw this little trend line like here that it has respected 1, 2, 3, 4 times now, you know, kind of the local trend in the trend kind of vibe. It doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, the uptrend doesn't even really matter. It's really the top. It's really the bottom that I'm worried about, because I'm not going to, if like we have this trend here, if we have like this trend line here, right, I'm not going to react to it breaking here. I'm going to try to short the loss of it. So there's that idea. And that does kind of coincide with the loss of the 170 level, 161, 170, 161, and 143.8, 144. So really we could short from here to here, which would be 5%. We could short from here to here, which would be the big one, which would be a 10% jump down from 161 to 144. But for this to happen, this thing needs to close this thing needs to close below the 50 EMA on the 2-hour, if that's kind of the way you want to swing it here. And also it's very obvious, higher high, lower high, bearish divergence on the 2-hour. And like I said, the volume profile is very dangerous on the daily, and the moving average is very far removed from the price action itself. So even if SWE ultimately, ends up here, where's January? right here. Here's January, the end of December. Even if SWE ends up here at $2.40, I feel like it would probably go like that to get there. At least that, because this level here, you don't want to lose. This is the big alarm at 143.5. Why? Because it's striated. It's striated the volume profile. So if we hit that level, we will have already lost this volume spike. And then we have a low volume node that spits us back out at $1.08. It's a pretty far drop. If you go from that volume spike to the next volume spike, that's 34%. All right. And so if we lose this level, we have already lost that volume profile. We already lost that volume spike. And the point of control is all the way down here at 83 cents. Guys, this is only a matter of timing. I'm not saying to jump in a SWE short this second. I very rarely say live, oh, I think that's safe. And when I do, I'm always right. That's why I always say it, because you can't expect the conditions to be perfect. A lot of times people want to say, which way is it going to go from here? Well, that doesn't matter. It's kind of more about zoning in on making a calculated trade. And I wouldn't go from here. This would be a bad spot to go from. It already bled. Like, you know what I mean? Like from here, I mean, we already top to bottom 9% in 5 hours. Like you missed it. So now you kind of got to react to what happens next. And what happens next is we have this uptrend that I showed you right here. All right. We have this down. We have this support resistance level at 170, like I said, and I would react to the loss of both of those things. Not to mention the price is now below both the EMAs on the 12-minute, which is obviously a sign of weakness. And, you know, even if you wanted to even kind of have some sort of backup plan Bs, you know, if you want to go from that top there, that's a pretty big level. From in here, oh, I keep doing that. From right there, it has a lot of volume right there as well. That would be 179. And then there's another level here around 185. So there are certainly a lot of levels there, but honestly, unless this thing just turns around and rips, which I don't think is going to happen, always have an alarm though. Like even if you want to set an alarm on this high right here, not from the wick, but the body of the candle, if you just to have that alarm on, just in case it goes off to react to, that's fine. But the alarms I'm watching, like I said, right here, 1.706, and this uptrend that is kind of like the local part of just these touches here. It doesn't even really matter structurally. It just makes sense to my brain that if it loses that angle, that's the point where it's going to break structure, because this thing has, and really, if you want to tell me to tell you what my brain really sees here, I see a shoulder, I see a head, and I see this level that I just gave you down here as the neckline. All right. And for the sake of argument, say we get this move to here. We come up, form another shoulder, which would be here. Okay. And then we go down from there. For the sake of argument, if this is the first head and shoulder, and we need another shoulder, if the measured move was to play out, that would actually put us all the way back down here, which would really make sense. You know why? Because that's at a support resistance level, $1.29. Just a thought, ladies and gentlemen. Just a thought. I appreciate each and every one of you. There might have been more charts, but my brain is a little fried at the moment. We went for way too long today, but I missed, sometimes when I get on the roll, and there's been 200 people here the whole time. So as long as you're here, sometimes I just like to go ahead and go with it. You guys rock. Stay tuned. I got some big news coming this week, man. I can't wait to share this stuff with you guys. We're going to have a week here at AJ Writes Crypto, everybody. One day at a time. Don't, everyone's in a big hurry. Everyone's in a big fucking hurry. And when that's how you operate, me and my buddy Billy, we used to call when people bing bong, when their brains just go bing, bing, bong, bing, 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 bong, 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 bong. And they don't really think about anything. And they're just kind of bouncing off the walls from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. You know the type. And these people, you really got to sit them down in a chair and make them focus on something. And your success in crypto is invariably tethered to your ability to sit down and focus, sit down and absorb and read, and your ability to energize that fire, that fight, that battery inside you that makes you really want to get shit done. Every successful person that I know is a grinder. They don't know how to shut off. They don't know how to relax. They don't know how to stop. And I have gone so far this year that I like sometimes have to unplug. I have to take a weekend. I need to just chill because like you get to a point where it's like you start, but that's that. Right. Managing the success is another thing. Getting there is what I'm trying to talk about. And getting there is completely tied to your ability to sit down, shut up, and learn as much as you possibly can. Because if you're talking, you're not learning. You learn when you listen. You learn when you absorb and when you just, what you want, right? Now focus on it every single day for hours and hours and hours and hours. And the people that focus on it more than everyone else are the ones that are going to succeed. It's very simple. Get rich or get wrecked. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.